away, BigRagoo.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. We're going to bring them on board first. They were the SEC from the East, the top dog, no pun intended, top dog in the East. Head coach Kirby Smart has built a heck of a program there since leaving Bama. Last year they started out pretty quick, and they kept the ball rolling. They were 7-1 in the SEC, and they took a bowl loss to Texas after that disappointment not getting to the championship game. But anyways, a lot of good looks going on with Georgia. Now Georgia's becoming a heck of a recruiting grounds on the collegiate level. You know, they're a top 3 class the last 3 years, and a ton of talent to work with. They got quarterback Jake Fromm is going to get the starts. You know, from here on out, he's the man. So no more Justin Fields. Now he went to Ohio State. They get running back DeAndre Swift. He's a junior. The run and pass, you know, he's catching the ball in the backfield. He's the number 1 rusher in the SEC. Number 1. Georgia's the number 1 rushing offense in the SEC. Number 2 in scoring with 38 points a game. They're rushing for 239 yards a game. And the overall improvement in the conference, they were prior to looking to this year, they were with the new offensive coordinator, James Coley, who's promoted up in the ranks. But, you know, they were 76 nationally last year, which I kind of didn't think they were that low. On the defensive side, they were ranked 2nd in conference. They're giving up 313 yards a game, and they were ranked 13th nationally. Almost the same ranks against the pass, too. Not bad, but against the run, there's going to be room for improvement this year. So I look for that to happen. We're bringing Cooley up. And they were ranked 31st nationally. The defensive line will be young also. And they do have some returners coming back, 7 on defense. And the key game is going to be a key game for them is going to be Notre Dame outside the conference when they play them September 21st. Your alma mater, your stomping grounds, Notre Dame. What do you think about this team so far? What do you got on them?
You know, this is like a catch-22 right here. You know, I talk a lot about 4th-year coaches right here, and this guy is right here in the right spot. You know, he got his quarterback with him. You know, he got a nice group of returners. You know, all systems go. This is a part of college football that I like, is when a plan come together, and right here it all comes together for him. Like I said, quarterback, defensive line, like it's all over. And last year he went 11-3. He had some tough losses. But on another note, this is the team that they keep saying every year. This is going to be the team to beat Alabama. And I just ain't seen it yet. And I don't know what it is about this team. They're not very fancy-dancy. They kind of resemble Alabama's style of offense, but with a little Georgia flair to it a little bit, I guess you could say. But this team right here, I like this team. And then they got to play my team. And my team's tough, man. We y'all ain't seen us yet, but when we come out today, we're going to show y'all what we're working with. I think a lot of the people are going to switch up what they think about Notre Dame after we give them a sample today. We got some exciting things going over there, but this is going to be a big game for both sides right here. But probably be when we see them, it's probably going to be a little tougher for them than us, because we used to playing in all different, you know, aspects of college football. You know, the SEC, ACC. We've been around to these big games, and that'll be the upper hand that we'll have preparation. But they definitely got the athletes over there, and they got the coaching and what they need. So. I don't know, man. I'm going to tie my hands behind my back and put some tape over my mouth and just try to sit down and enjoy the game, because it wouldn't be an exciting point for me. But it is going to be a pillar of Georgia's season to get past Notre Dame. And that's probably what I'll probably do. I'll probably take Georgia. And, you know, if my team wins and I lose money, then that's fine. But, you know, if my team loses and I win money, that's great. But this team is definitely, you know, in a real improvement year. Like last year, they had them tied up to beat Alabama, and they came close. And this year, maybe the team, like I'm waiting to see that one team that's going to do it. But this Alabama team, we already talked about it, has a chip on their shoulder. So could be tough. But Jake Fromm, premier quarterback, if he does well, could be a Heisman candidate or something here. So
he'll be starting for a long time to come. He's only a sophomore too. Remember that last year he was a freshman, split time with Justin Field. Now, like you said, gone to Ohio State. So the thing about this team is they play Vanderbilt already. That's the conference game, and they kind of took like a reverse schedule. They play Murray State, Arkansas State, then they got to play the Fighting Irish on the 21st. Then they play Tennessee, which is a down year. South Carolina, questionable. Kentucky. So realistically, for an SEC schedule, the toughest teams they're going to play is probably going to be Florida, and then A&M late in the season. And they do play Auburn at Auburn, late middle part of November. So it's not the toughest of all SEC schedules, but it's a very doable schedule that a lot of the pundits have got them picked like number one in the SEC East, and they got them 8-0 in the SEC play. So they're not giving Florida respect. They're not giving Auburn the respect, and they're definitely not giving A&M the respect. So those are three games that they can come against and possibly lose. Not all of them, but, they might get upset in one of those games. I wouldn't just go ahead and walk them in as an undefeated SEC East team.
Yeah, who else they don't give respect? Notre Dame. Because this schedule right here that they have is designed to beat Notre Dame. They playing all these soft people right before us, and guess what happens after they play Notre Dame? They get a bye week, BigRagoo. That's because, like I said, this whole channel of events is to beat Notre Dame, because playing against a team like Notre Dame on that level of viewership on the game is a big for this Georgia team, and this may be beating Notre Dame may be what they need to get past Alabama, because it just when you're talking media and you're talking, coverage and all that kind of stuff on the game, you're talking these are 19, 20, 22, 23-year-old kids, and that type of stuff plays its part even on the field, because football is a game, you don't do well if you don't play it with some enthusiasm and some confidence. So all that being said, their schedule is designed to beat Notre Dame. This may help them. But like you said, because they've stacked it up this way, they may find themselves, exhausted or something and play one of these other teams. But they also one of these teams, too, that have 2 bye weeks. So many teams this year are going to be getting 2 bye weeks in college football. This is one. Now
that's a good point. Great point.
They bye week right after Notre Dame. They play at Tennessee. They play South Carolina. They play Kentucky, who Kentucky could have been a major contender looking at how Kentucky played last year. And guess what they do after they play Kentucky? They take another bye. They come back off the bye and they play Florida. That helps. Then they get a down week. They play Missouri. That helps. Then they're going to get a beat-up Auburn team at Auburn. If you look at Auburn's schedule, which we already reviewed, they're going to have it tough around those late weeks. And then they're going to finish the season probably with a banged-up Texas A&M and a for sure win against Georgia Tech, all to be set up to beat Alabama. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the method works. Now, if they, I'm a Notre Dame fan, and if they beat us, so be it. We like to play the tough competition. If we get beat by Georgia, I want them to be the team that beat Alabama. I want to be beat by the best if I have to take a beating. So I guess I'm going to have to say that I'm all for Georgia in this one. They got it all lined up. I'd say take them as much as possible and frequently. They'll probably cover too.
Yeah, that's a good analyzation of the breakdown of the schedule, because, a lot of times we look at teams for what they are and we don't really, tear the schedules apart to look at them long term. And that's a great way to look at this team going forward, because if they got to get to the national championship or national spotlight to get in the playoffs, Notre Dame, they were there last year. So if they can't beat them getting out of the gate, not necessarily getting out of the gate, but getting to them to get to the other teams and get into the conference play, that's going to be a good look going forward for them, how they're going to measure up.
Exactly. And, being that I've always been a Notre Dame fan, scheduling has always been our only defense, so I'm deep into scheduling. As you know, we talked about it before, teams that don't play good competition, I shy down on that. And these athletic directors, they schedule this stuff sometimes 2-3 years out, so they know exactly what they're doing. Fourth year coach juice the schedule up for winning. So I commend what they're doing over there at Georgia. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. What do you say we move on to the next team?
Oh, let's jump on into it. So